Welcome back to Music Recollections, Soundtrack of the Fans, the podcast where we spin the records of your lives and dive into the tracks that define who we are. Today is a major milestone for the show. For the very first time, Brian and James aren't just looking at one person's musical timeline. They're diving into a shared soundtrack with Kathleen and Connor, a married couple living in Atlanta. In this episode, Kathleen and Connor join us to share the concerts, albums, and iconic artists that shaped their individual lives and brought them together. Brian and James learn about their teenage high school listening habits and discuss how the evolution of digital streaming and Spotify playlists completely expanded their musical horizons. From the standout live shows they'll never forget to the specific songs that define their partnership, this episode is a beautiful look at how music connects us all.
Welcome to another episode of Music Recollections. We're happy today to have our first couple on our podcast. So today we have Kathleen and Connor. Brian, would you like to start us off?
Yes, well, I'm really looking forward to this. Thanks, James. You're an awesome co-host, and we've been doing this for about a year now, so very excited about our guest today. Kathleen, one of our guests, I'm her godfather. She's really like a daughter, and her husband, Connor, is just an amazing young man. Really consider him like an amazing nephew, if that makes sense. And I had the privilege of marrying them almost 2 years ago, which is amazing. So I was the officiant. That was my first and perhaps my last wedding, but it was so much fun. It was really, really special. So can't wait to interview you guys. So why don't you tell us about your first concert experience, if you both can share that?
Yeah, well, I mean, B, you already know about my first concert experience because it was with you, which was Coldplay Viva La Vida tour, which was probably like the most epic first concert ever. And what year was that? 2008 or I'm pretty sure it was 2008. So that was very luckily, that was my first concert experience. And Coldplay is my favorite band, so nothing has changed since then, honestly.
Yeah, and for me, it was Green Day. I can't remember what album it was. It was just a tour that they were doing. Was it American Idiot? What's the shirt say? Because that's from that.
I think it was American Idiot.
Yeah, I think it was the American Idiot tour. My friend's mom just bought a bunch of tickets and was convincing my mom to let me go. And all my friends were like, yeah, you got to go. So we ended up at the Gwinnett Arena sitting, not in the nosebleeds, but like second tier. And I just remember that being such an incredible concert. I still have a shirt that I bought. It doesn't fit me anymore. Kathleen actually wears it. So that shirt's been around for, 20 years now, maybe. And
I still have one from the Viva La Vida tour.
Yeah, so you're still getting mileage out of that. But Green Day, I can't even remember who opened. But just hearing that live for the first time, it really set something off in me. I was like, oh, there's something about this. So my brother started taking me to a bunch more shows after that. As soon as he realized, he's like, oh, you like this. Okay, we're going to go to a lot more shows now.
Well, I love that. And Kathleen, for sure, that was a memory that I'll keep forever. It was such a fun. I remember I was sort of going through a rough time at work. I didn't like my manager. I hated the job. And that was just such a awesome experience going there with you. It was at Phillips Arena. They called it Phillips, and now it's State Farm. And I did look it up because I had a feeling you were going to mention this. It was a Viva La Vida tour, and it was the day after the election in 2008. So it was November of 2008. So it's hard to believe that was 18 years ago.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it was. I remember like Chris Martin speaking about the election, though, now that you say that, but I remember we had amazing seats. We weren't like on the floor, but we were directly to like the right of the stage where it felt like we could reach out and touch him. It was so cool to be in those seats.
It was cool. And they started out with that amazing instrumental Life in Technicolor. And I was cranking that up today. It was cool. They were way ahead of their time with the LED lighting too. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Coldplay knows how to make an album better than anybody else. Like when you listen to a Coldplay album, you can experience it in concert, I feel like, with their intro, like Life in Technicolor. Every album they have has a song like that. an intro and an outro.
No, for sure. Yeah, they do. They do. And I remember the encore was Yellow. When I looked it up, the set list, I think that was the second or last song. So that was such an incredible night. And then we talk music all the time, Connor. I remember you saying all these concerts you went to at a really young age. I'm kind of a late bloomer. I think my very first concert, I was 17 or 18. I think you said you were going to them. How old were you at your first one at Green Day?
Oh man, that would have been, what do you think, American Idiot?
I was like
12,
fifth grade.
maybe? Oh,
Probably
really?
11.
Earlier than
Yeah,
that?
maybe
Yeah, maybe
11.
like 10 or 11. That
That's
was,
that's cool. A little rocker.
yeah. And then like I said, I started going to a bunch with my brother after that. What all did we go to? I went to the last Mayhem Fest they did. If you remember Project 961 when it was around.
You went to some crazy
Yeah,
concerts.
I went to Project Cinco. I've seen Rob Zombie, Amon Amarth, Five Finger Death Punch, and I was like high school, maybe early college for those. So it's not my earliest concert, but I'm all over the place with concerts. Like my brother, he's really big into like heavy metal. So I went to a ton of those with him. And then all of my other friends have different tastes in music. And then Kathleen, of course, I've seen a lot of concerts with her. So it's really, I can pretty much go see anything.
Yeah, I love that. If I want to know about a new band, I'll definitely ask you, Connor, for sure.
Mhm.
And then Kathleen, you always sort of have the ins and outs on the band or like a good book about them and the backstory, which is awesome. And I'm gonna turn it over to James.
Yeah, that's so awesome, you guys. Yeah, so my question was really pertaining to what kind of music that you used to listen to in high school, and it sounds like, especially Connor, just had a wide variety of exposure to different bands and things like that. So I'm really interested to hear what kind of music they used to listen to, and if your taste in music has changed since then.
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. I feel like you were much more like heavier than I was. We listened to a lot of like indie rock and that I feel like that's mostly what I listened to in high school. Plus like what my parents listened to, which was like Nora Jones and like James Taylor and Harry Connick Jr. But like The Strokes were one of my favorite bands in high school. Passion Pit had like just come out. The Black Keys were amazing. Coldplay, obviously. So we were like at my high school, everyone was very much into indie rock, and like most people were probably also playing some sort of instrument and in some sort of band. So I any music that I can like visualize live is what I really love, and I don't think my music taste has really changed that much, honestly. Like this year, we've already seen the Black Keys. We've seen Green Day a few times in the past.
Alabama Shake.
Yeah, we Alabama Shakes I started listening to in like college, but like we're going to see Jack White later this year and Beck and Foster the People, all these people that I listened to in high school. I feel like we're reliving like 2012 this year in concert wise. So I pretty much listen to the same type of music, except for maybe I listen to more like hip hop now. Like we love Kendrick Lamar. I listen to a lot of Doechii. That's probably like the only big difference. But otherwise, I think I listen to almost the exact same music.
Yeah, you're definitely right though. My taste, especially in high school, was a lot heavier. I don't want to fall into like the sad boy music trope, but I listened to a lot of like Breaking Benjamin. I was listening to Green Day, Nickelback for a little bit. I still think Nickelback is pretty good. I think they caught a lot of hate for no reason. They're still pretty good. Who else? Like the heavier stuff as well. Like I listened to Slipknot. I fell into dubstep a lot, so there was Skrillex. But on the flip side of that, I knew the ABBA Greatest Hits album word for word because I my uncle would take me to school sometimes, and that's all we would listen to. He'd pop in the ABBA Greatest Hits, and we'd listen to it there. He'd pick me up, and we listen to it back. So we'd go through that album several times throughout the school year. So I know that album front to back pretty much. So it's really all over the place. In terms of changing, when I got into college, I started listening to a lot more hip hop and rap because of my roommate Gunner, and he was really big into all that. So he had a nice speaker. That's what we would listen to. And then I started discovering even more like EDM style. No more dubstep. I kind of shied away from that. It still comes up every now and then, but a lot more EDM. And then I got bigger when I met Kathleen. I got much more bigger into kind of just like more indie stuff. I would always listen to indie rock, White Stripes, if you consider them that. But then she got me into Alabama Shakes, Group Love. Who else? There's
Oh
one
yeah,
more I was
Group
thinking
Love.
of.
We had, Spotify just released that like your lifetime in music, and Group Love was the very first song that I had listened to in 2012 when I downloaded Spotify. And we've seen them like twice in the past 5 years. So again, music tastes haven't changed.
Mine, on the other hand, I just don't, my music tastes don't change. I can still pick up, like, I can right now rock a Slipknot song, but also it just it kind of morphs. I never really toss anything out. I just bring more in, and it just, this just infinite playlist that constantly builds. Like, I got access to my old Spotify account a couple months ago, and I went through a playlist in there, and I was like, I had completely forgotten about all this. So I had like two up at the same time, like trying to transfer the playlist over to make sure I didn't miss anything. And that alone just reminded me of a ton of music that I had stopped listening to or just didn't come back around.
Yeah, that's what I love about like platforms like Spotify. It not only does it allow you to be introduced to other bands that really maybe don't get the radio play or things like that, but yeah, you just have access to just a humongous volume of content, which is so cool. Whereas, back when, Brian and I were kind of coming up, it's just like, hey, if you had this on CD, you were playing it, or maybe, just by the chance it'd be playing on the radio. But I love that you can just like really get in, a rabbit hole with just, all the different music that's out there. I love that. So yeah, I could definitely tell by your responses that you two are really big into music. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you haven't done it, I do recommend, like, if you have a Spotify playlist, I do this every so often. Just scroll through it because it's literally a timeline as you add things. Like, I'll play a video game. I'm a big video game soundtrack guy. That's like a ton of my playlist is that. So I'll go through and I'll just have all these songs from one video game at a time. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Like, I really loved that, and I played through that, and I added all these. I'll take some of them out because I was like, this is way too many to have. But at that time, they're at the front of my playlist, and I was like, yeah, I want to listen to these all the time. So it's an interesting, just like, timeline that you can go through, either how you're feeling or what you've done recently, or even a live concert. Like, when we went and saw Alabama Shakes, I didn't have a lot of them in my playlist. But after we went to the concert, I was like, yeah, I got to add all these songs. Why aren't these in here? So now there's just a big block of Alabama Shakes and just like the one playlist I have.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I love that. And Kathleen, of course, I still love that college rock sound. And we're still always talking about sort of those college bands, and that will never leave me. But Connor, for sure, you have a really like mature taste in music and just a wide range of it. I think I mentioned this at the wedding. You're sort of an old soul, but young at heart. I think your mom had posted that on Facebook, something about, here's Connor, we so close. And that's when I mentioned on there that sort of that old soul, but you're very young at heart. I think I also mentioned at the wedding that you're the guy that'll paint the fence, walk the dog, cook the dinner, and fill up the Gatorade cooler while scoring the touchdown. So you can sort of do it all. And just a little side note, when we went to Florida a few years ago, that was such a fun trip. You were sort of taking care of us like you were the dad. You're like cooking for us and cleaning and picking us up. I just,
Hey,
I'll do the
it's what I
dishes,
do.
but I'm not cooking.
no, I know that was really funny. I think maybe me being the youngest, I'm like, oh, someone else will take care of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, but no, this has been great so far. What about the best concert that y'all have ever been to?
This one was hard when you sent over the questions because I was really trying to think about it because honestly, every concert, I'm like, that's the best one. And the most recent one was the best one. But I think when we went to go see Coldplay for, it was like the first leg of their Music of the Spheres tour because, they were on that tour for like 3 years and we saw them twice on that tour. Um, and it was at Mercedes-Benz and it was 2022. So the world was kind of just reopening. That was an incredible show. And it was the first concert we had been to in like 2 or 3 years at that point. That was like a life-changing experience being at that show. And then I think the second one maybe is Cage the Elephant. We saw them at Amerisbank. I think it was 2 years ago. incredible live performers. I mean, the lead singer broke his foot on stage in the first song and performed the rest of the show the whole time.
From
And it
Achilles.
was jumping up and down. Yeah, one leg on one leg. It was crazy. And they're like one of those bands that I know every album front to back. And I saw them when after they released their first album, the first year that Music Midtown was back. That was the same year that Coldplay played at Music Midtown. And they were incredible then, and they're even more incredible now. So it was one of those concerts you go to where you know every single song that they play, and it's just you can't sit down, you can't go to the bathroom, you have to like stay in that little area, jumping up and down the whole time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think those are probably my favorite too. And then like I have this one band in Athens that I love that's no longer together anymore, New Madrid. They were big when we were there. We saw them at Terrapin, R.I.P. Terrapin. No, not
No.
Terrapin. Sorry, Southern Brewing.
Southern Brewing,
Yeah,
yeah.
at Southern Brewing. And that was probably like 2022 too, like right after, the world was opening back up. And it was, at those shows you can get right in the front row. And I know every single one of their songs too. And it's like this personal, like intimate experience. That was an amazing concert too.
Yeah, best concert I think we were together was definitely Cage the Elephant. Everything you said hit the nail on the head. That was just an incredible energy show. And the funny thing was, there were so many people there who were there for their most recent album and not for their older stuff.
Which their older stuff is way like more metal almost. Like it's more heavy. And I like that. I'm surprised that I like that older stuff. But I think their newest album, I can't remember what the album was called this, but like there's that song
The
Rainbows. Oh, yeah, I can't remember what
Yeah.
it's called right now. And then Young the Giant opened for them, which was pretty cool too.
But then best concert, Kathleen didn't come with me to this one because she doesn't like EDM very much. So there's this UK artist that I found in college named Fox Stevenson, and he had been touring the UK like 10, 15 years, and finally he announced 3 shows in the US. One was in New York, one was in Vegas, and then one was in the what's the name of that venue? It's the Elton John venue where he gets on where he did the piano stand.
The Troubadour?
Troubadour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was playing a show at the Troubadour. And I was like, oh God, I want to make it out there. So I tried booking flights to New York, everything, and I couldn't make it work. And then the following year, he announced another US tour, and he was playing right up the road. And I was like, we have to go. And that is just a very special concert to me because that's an artist I know every single song, every single album, front to back. And just having that, because I go to we go to a ton of shows and you don't always know every single thing. They have a lot of new music coming out, but with this guy, I knew everything. He came out, it was a 3-hour show. He did a live band and he did vocals for about an hour and a half, took a 15-minute break, and then he brought a DJ table out and played for the rest of it. And that is still to this day the only concert I've gone to the rail for, just like front row, screaming the entire time. It was the best. I'd waited so long for that. So
Yeah, these are great stories. And I love hearing about the concerts that y'all have been to because you really bring the music alive every time I talk to y'all about this. And definitely can feel that. I think we've talked about it, James, and I probably mentioned to you, Kathleen and Connor, when that you feel it in your soul, rock and roll, a lot of times that, thump in your chest. But even the EDM, Connor, I've kind of gotten into that. I listened to this chill channel. I think that kind of crosses over. So let me know next time you go. I'd like to experience just to see it or experience it because I've always gone to rock shows. I think there's something we all have in common. We're not country fans.
Mm-mm,
no,
absolutely not.
definitely not.
No, that doesn't work. But another cool thing, you guys go to some incredible venues. I know you went to the Rose Bowl. Who did you all see at the Rose Bowl, and what's some of your favorite venues?
It's Coldplay.
Yeah, we
at the
saw
Rose Bowl.
Coldplay, same Music of the Spheres tour, which was incredible. It is an old stadium, so there was like 3 bathrooms for the whole stadium, and you have to walk up like 100 flights of stairs to get to your seats. And then we got COVID at that show, so that was a bummer. But it was incredible just to be there and see the history. We're lucky enough to live literally like 3 blocks away from the Eastern, which I think is technically Atlanta's newest venue until they open that one downtown, but it's an incredible venue. The sound quality is amazing. It's just, we can walk there, which is incredible. There's enough bathrooms and bars that you're not waiting in line the whole time.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think. I actually do really like going to State Farm. We saw Coldplay at Phillips Arena, and then I saw Casey Musgraves. This is my one like asterisk to country music because I don't think she's that country. I think she's more like folk, and she's not like I don't know. It's a different kind of country. But I saw her there at State Farm, and it was an incredible experience, and the sound quality there was just amazing. We're seeing Weezer there later this year. I'm trying to think like what other concert venues. I mean, every concert venue in Athens. 40 Watt is the best. Georgia Theater is good, but 40 Watt is so intimate. We saw Cracker there a few years ago.
That was
I think we were the youngest people at the show, but they were really good. And
Yeah.
he's actually the lead singer is a professor at UGA. So my friend had him for a music history class, which I thought was kind of interesting. I think that's my favorite in Athens. And then, I mean, we got married at a music venue. The Foundry is pretty cool. The only person I saw there before we got married was Aaron Carter, though. And that was interesting.
Wow,
Yeah.
y'all have been to some amazing shows, James. You're gonna have to move down. We're gonna have to go to some shows with Connor and Kathleen.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you all can
seriously,
take us
that's
around. You
awesome.
guys have been to some amazing stuff, but just going to the Rose Bowl, it's like you said, such an iconic place. And me being a huge college football fan, James too, it's amazing. It would be amazing just to be there. But I've heard that, and I remember you all saying that it's kind of a rickety stadium, but that's such an incredible experience. Well, you all really should think about doing a blog of your experiences at a lot of these places. It's really it helps it come alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say I'm glad we went to the Rose Bowl. I don't know if I need to go again because that stadium, that it's a beautiful stadium, beautiful location. You feel like you're just like in this valley in California and it's super nice, but the stadium itself, it was like they were telling us to get
No
there
joke.
6 or 7 hours early. And then we just stood in this line hoping it was going the right way. And then somebody just comes by and says, they have entrances open around the corner. So we're just running, running, running. And then that's like a 10-minute line. And then our seats were, so if you're sitting in the first 30 rows, you walk down. If you're sitting in the last 150 rows, you walk up. So we were like, what, like 70 something?
Yeah, I
It
don't even
was,
think I drank like a drop of water the whole show because I
no,
was like, I can't go to the bathroom.
no. I
It's
was
going
like,
to take me an hour to get there and back.
but it's a
No, that's
good
right.
venue.
But that's what makes those places so cool. Those old school stadiums that are like that. There's one place, James, that we went to. I don't know if I haven't heard y'all. Have you been to the Fox, James? We saw some really great shows at the Fox Theater. That's an underrated venue. It's such a classic place. They played. That's where Gone with the Wind would premiere.
Mm.
Way back when it started. Have you guys been to the Fox Theater?
Yeah.
I've never seen a concert at the Fox.
Never a concert. We've been to some shows there, like what, like Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I've been
Little
like Broadway
Mermaid.
shows, but I would like to see. I wish more people would play at the Fox. I do wish more people would play in town. Like we've been to Amerisbank a lot recently, but it's a pain to get out there. And we're going to Coke Roxy, or I'm going for the first time, but it's a pain to get out there too from where we live. But I've heard Coke Roxy is a great venue, so
Yeah,
I'm willing
it's
to
good.
make the trek.
Well, one thing, my parents, of course, Kathleen lived right behind that stadium in Maris Theater. James, we saw Sammy Hagar 2 years ago. We're kind of old school rockers. That was amazing. And actually, James, that's the last show I've been to was when we went
Yeah,
2 years ago.
same here. It seems like we need to get out a little bit more, Brian.
I know we definitely need to hang out with you guys more. So,
There's
but
been a
well,
shocking
that's
amount of fantastic shows this year. As soon as we buy one ticket, somebody else announces. Like I think we just bought our tickets to Jack White, and then Beck announces a tour, and we're like, we got to go see Beck.
Oh, crap.
We're not
Here's
gonna,
all of our money.
yeah, you're not gonna not see Beck. And it was the same thing as like when Alabama Shake showed up. We're like, okay, we got to go to that. When Green Day shows up, we're gonna go to that. When Weezer shows up, we're gonna go to that. So there's no issue for us like seeing multiple bands a year or just seeing the same band every year, every other year.
Oh yeah, if the band I know is on tour, I'm going to see them.
Yeah, how many times have we seen Green Day now? This is gonna be like the
Maybe like
fourth or
I've
fifth.
seen Weezer the most actually. I've seen Weezer like 6 times. I think I've seen Coldplay 5 times.
yeah. Well, hey, next time ask Old Man B to come out.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah, no, please do. I know you all saw as a family. I wasn't able to go. The B-52s in Athens, but I think
Oh
you
yeah.
said they were good, but they were getting up there a little bit in
I
age.
mean, I thought they were still pretty good, and that new venue in the Classic Center was pretty good too.
Hmm.
We also saw Elton John a few years ago, and love Elton John, but I'll say like you can tell his age. He's aged a lot. His voice sounds different. I didn't think that was really true of the B-52s. I thought they sounded
No, they
like pretty
sounded
similar to
yeah.
how they sound on their albums.
And they had like
Okay,
a
that's
different
awesome.
they had like it wasn't like an identical energy, it felt like, but it was a different energy. Like they had adapted it to what they knew they could do because they were still dancing, the costumes were all still there, they were all singing pretty well.
We actually
So,
saw them in Central Park in like 2019 too.
oh yeah.
Yeah, the Classic Center show was better.
Yeah.
Well, Kathleen, I'm relaying what your dad told me, so I trust you all a lot more. Yeah, you just got to give him a little hard time, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, I'll turn it over to you now.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to hear from you all about your favorite album. And as I ask that question, I'm thinking, do you all even kind of purchase content, the whole album, or you just pretty much just use streaming to listen to your music, or do you even have a favorite album?
I think we vary on this. I'm very much an album person, and I will sit there and listen to albums all the way through. And he gets frustrated. He's like, "Oh, we need to skip this song," and I'm like, "No, that's the art of the album." Like, I mean, we use Spotify, but I also still have my all of my old CDs, and we have records and things like that. But even when I go to Spotify, I like to sit there and listen to a whole album. You listen to playlists more.
Yeah, I'm more of a playlist guy. I like the same thing of like I like so many different kinds of music, so it's weird for me to listen to the same kind of music but for my favorite album, I think it's Foster the People. It might be their first album. Is it Torches? It's got it's what the album that Pumped Up Kicks is
Yeah, I
on.
think
That's
that's
their
it.
biggest song. I that album's fantastic all the way through, and it's really they are still one of my favorite bands. I don't listen to them as much, but that album for me, I think it came out either sophomore or junior year of high school, and I listened to that one constantly all the way through. That's another one I forgot to mention actually about high school music taste, but that album, yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think my favorite album is probably Parachutes, which is Coldplay's first album. I think like it is just a beautiful album, and it's fairly succinct too. Like it doesn't run on for like 15 songs. I think there's like 8 or 10 songs on it. And Yellow's on that album. I love the song Parachutes, even though I think it's like 45 seconds long. That's what I walked down the aisle to. Yellow was my dance with my dad. So it holds a lot of like special meaning, and even like the lesser listened to songs on that album are just beautiful. Coldplay is one of those that I listen to the albums front to back because like I said, they have like they've mastered the art of creating an album where you can just experience the whole thing with the intros, the outro songs, and Weezer. I listened to a lot of their albums front to back. I think that was just because like we had CDs when those, or we were listening to our like iPods where you had to buy the whole album when those first came out. Who else? Alabama Shakes also has great albums front to back. The Black Keys. I listened to Jack White and the White Stripes. I think Jack White, I like his albums better, or the Raconteurs. Then I listen to those more than the White Stripes. But yeah, I'm very much an album person.
Oh, wait, that reminds me. So, in terms of it's not a vinyl, but a CD that I had in a CD player when I was growing up, and I listened to it pretty much every day all the way through. It was Linkin Park's Meteor. Oh man, I'm gonna get flack for this. I feel like Meteorology. Oh gosh, do you know what I'm talking about, or James? The album covers the guy with the flag. It's like their most famous album, and
I can't remember it either. You remember, James?
No, we'll have to put that in the comment section.
yeah, it's
Red Hot Chili Peppers also. That's
oh yeah,
another band that does like yeah, great albums.
another album name I can't remember. It's got Snow, it's got Danny California, Stadium Arcadium.
Stadium Arcadium.
Yeah, okay, got that one. But
So I'm going to throw you guys a little bit of a curveball, but since you all are our first couple on this podcast, couples often have a song. Do you all have a song that you kind of identify with as a couple?
Our first dance was Your Song by Elton John. So I guess that's kind of, yeah, our song. But we also share just like you like every type of music that I like for the most part, except
yeah,
for that one Black Keys album. That's all like
Yeah, that's
very like bluesy and folksy. He hates that album.
well, you put it on
Crawling
when I'm
Frog
driving.
Snake.
You put it on when I'm driving, a 3 hour drive, and
Yeah,
it's
I think
just
it's
like
good driving music.
yeah, but it's
But
just like strumming for like
yeah,
2 hours. I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep. Like not in a bad way, but I'm just like, this is not driving
I think
music.
your song and then Island in the Sun by Weezer is another song I think we both like
Yeah.
really love.
And then weirdly enough, I would also say like Low by Cracker.
Yeah.
To throw a curveball in there, just like they can't all be like romantic happy songs.
Oh yeah. I mean Island in the Sun's not like I guess it is
Yeah,
kind of romantic. It's
it's
just like
but just
upbeat.
like a random one that I think kind of helps define
Yeah.
like our relationship and our tastes in music.
I love that. Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, but your wedding was so much fun, and they always say the two most horrifying words to a guy are "Let's dance." And the one time you saw Uncle B in a rare form when you got in that it was a Beastie Boys song. You have to fight for your right to party.
Oh yeah.
I jumped out and did some mean air guitar.
Well,
Yeah. That's
that
another I think we both love anything like 90s and then some 80s. So our most of our wedding songs were like 90s songs like that, like Chubba Bubba Thump. I can't
something
Thump Thumpin'
something
by
by
Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba.
That was another like epic song at the wedding. We had them play Island in the Sun. Yeah, I had to throw in some Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I
For
It
think
me,
was so fun. And the photographer got a really cool picture. The three of us are in it, and I'm in the background playing air guitar. Then Connor, you're looking at me, and Kathleen, you're like screaming.
yeah, I'm
It's
jumping
a
up and
pretty cool
down.
picture.
and then James, for a little context, we had a live band at our wedding, and we kind of gave them what was it, 10 songs to run off of.
Yeah, we gave them genres and then I think 5 songs not to play. So I was like, do not play September. Don't play any of like the, typical like
Motown.
Earth, Wind and Fire Motown's wedding songs. Like
I
we
love Earth,
want
Wind and
a
Fire, though.
it's fun. I was like, we want something different. We want a concert. We
Yeah.
want it to feel like a concert. And I think it did.
Oh yeah, and there was something for everybody there. It was such a diverse set of songs. Like between Beastie Boys, they played B-52s, they played
Yeah.
was it Alanis Morissette?
I think there might have been one.
Yeah, they did actually. They threw
Yeah,
that in
because
there.
Gus was like
Oh,
play.
oh yeah, one person got them to play Freebird, of course.
Oh yeah.
I think I
I
screamed Freebird. I may have done that in the back. I think I screamed it. Well, it was funny. I was talking to the lead singer before. I'm like, man, I would do anything to be in a rock band. This is the coolest thing. And I was kept wanting to play the Strokes. I said, you sure you can't play that? He's like, man, we want to, but we can't. But I remember I was out there playing guitar, man, and he gave me a look and he just looked at me and smiled. I'll never forget that. He'd had a big old grin on his face. So that was so much fun. It was kind of that one night you didn't want to end.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
I know. When they said they were playing the last song, I was like, "What? It's only been an hour." I think it'd been like 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, you run on that high for so long.
Yeah.
Like once it was time. I wasn't nervous about the wedding. I wasn't nervous about any of like the inner workings. I was just nervous about the first dance because we had choreographed it and we went to a dance lesson and everything. So that was the only thing that was bugging me. But after that, it was party time.
Oh yeah.
And we did have the saxophone. I put a weird request in when we were looking at bands. I was like, can we get a
I
saxophone?
know we said Motown, no Motown, but also can we have a saxophone?
He killed it.
He did a good
killed
job.
it. He was
Well, it
fantastic.
was kind of the perfect night. And Kathleen, I know you didn't want to, how much I love college football and the dogs. You didn't want to get too much the game overshadowing it, but it really didn't. But it was timing was perfect. When y'all walked out, we had just beaten Texas. And I remember, I think, didn't you lead the cheer of Go Dogs? Who was it, Connor or Kathleen?
No, that was my dad at the hotel.
Yeah, I think
Okay, yeah, well, that was right.
we beat them after the wedding because we are all hanging out at the hotel bar, and we were watching it there. But it worked out perfectly because the venue just had one little TV in the corner, and it kept everybody off their phones. Like nobody was like trying to watch it in secret. If you wanted to watch it, you go get a drink and watch it a little bit in there. No sound or anything, but the music was still going on, and it gave people a reason to talk too.
I'm just
So
glad
everybody
they
was-
won. It would have been a different story if they had lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did help everything. I was thinking the same thing. If the timing we lost, but it did kind of just keep it going. It was really a lot of fun. And well, you all had mentioned to your last concert. I remember you all talking about this, Cage the Elephant.
Mhm.
Is that the last show you saw, or what was the last couple shows? And you mentioned a couple others you want to see.
Yeah, we a few weekends ago we went to 2 shows in the same weekend. It was exhausting. We saw Alabama Shakes at Chastain, which is another like fantastic venue, probably one of my favorites. And then we saw the Black Keys 2 days later at the Tabernacle. Both were incredible shows. I mean, Brittany Howard is one of the most amazing people you can see live. Her voice is just incredible and extremely moving, and she just seems like a good person. And the Black Keys were really good too. It was interesting. It was the first night of their Peaches and Cream tour, and it's based off of their more bluesy albums, which are the ones that I said Connor doesn't really like, but they gave like a bluesy twist to every single song that they played. So even if it was like Lonely Boy from one of their first albums, it had like that bluesy sound. So I thought that was really interesting, a unique show to see. And they started out with just the two of them on stage, and then they would bring out another guitar player. They would bring out like a bassist. And then by the end of the night, they had a full
Like,
band.
yeah, well, it was like 8 or 9 people out
Yeah,
there
I
by
mean, it
the
was
end of it.
incredible. And
Yeah.
being at the Tabernacle is always such a cool experience too. You feel like there's a sense of history there. Except one time we saw Group Love there in August, and the AC was broken. That was miserable.
Yeah, they had to open all the doors. They were handing out water and like ice, trying to keep everyone cool. It was a nightmare, but it's a good venue.
Yeah, but that was the last show we saw, and then we're going to see.
Who's next?
I can't remember who's next. They're all in the fall. We're going to
Is
see
it
Weezer,
I think it's Weezer.
Jack White, and Foster the People, and I think we'll go see Beck and
Yeah.
maybe Passion Pit. So yeah, this is the year of concerts, I think. Everyone is going on tour this year. The Strokes are also going on tour, but they're only coming here for Shaky Knees, so we're trying to decide if we should go to Shaky Knees or maybe fly somewhere to go see them.
Wow, that is so cool, all these shows. And I always love to hear about the experiences from them and all of this. This is so amazing. Well, it's great to know, James, that rock isn't dead, because many people say, man, rock and roll dead, but it's still alive and well. I mean, you guys are, of course, hip on all these newer music. We're still kind of old school on some stuff, but I asked someone the other day, who do you think who's like a big super group rock band? And they mentioned Foo Fighters. But as far as mainstream rock band, who would you all say?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard to find like mainstream, like new mainstream rock bands nowadays. I know there's that
I
one
mean, the
band.
Killers kind of were, but I think they're even kind of old now.
I don't even know
Yeah.
if they've made new music in the past few years. I mean, the Strokes, I think they just played at Coachella and they are coming out with a new album. I think they still have a lot of relevance. I mean, they were kind of on a hiatus for a while there, but they've had a huge resurgence this year. I don't know about like
Well,
younger rock bands.
I think it's just that rock hasn't gotten away, but like the definition is really loose now because I don't know if you've heard of this one band, Sleep Token.
Yeah, that's
Their
good. Yeah.
Sleep Token, it's not really my thing, but they're huge, like selling out arenas. Like you can't beg for the tickets. And then you have something like Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, I was gonna say them
Like
too.
they're by that standard, yeah, they're probably a rock band, but it's just like, would you consider them rock? Would you consider Sleep Token? There's the Linda Lindas.
Oh my God, the Linda Lindas. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with them. We saw them before. We saw this epic concert that was the Linda Lindas, Smashing Pumpkins,
Rancid.
Green Day, and Rancid. And the Linda Lindas are like the coolest girls on earth. They started when they were, I think, like 10. And it was in 2020 in response to this like kid who was bullying them in their high school. And they played at the public library. Now they're going on tour with like Green Day, and they were opening for Weezer. They're so cool.
no, that aren't they kind of like the B-52s a little bit?
They're
They're more like
like
garage rock, honestly.
yeah, they're more like Garbage or who's that other
Bikini Kill?
Bikini, yeah,
Yeah.
Bikini Kill. They cover a lot of Bikini Kill.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now I've heard of some of those bands, but now Greta Van Zeppelin, I know about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you guys were talking about that the other day.
Yeah,
They're good
yeah.
though.
Well, on your birthday on Monday, and James, we're familiar with them because we're like, man, these guys are totally ripping off Zeppelin. I mean, they're talented. I think they started when they were 12, but they have the get up and everything. It's like they don't seem too original, but they're definitely talented for sure.
I did go to one of their shows. It was very good, and they put all their effort into their costume design, their hairdos. So if you're looking for just like what is it?
Production value.
It was almost like what's it called? Like hair metal? Is that what it was?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I love Poison, Motley Crue. That brings
Yeah.
us back to
Yeah,
Hazen.
exactly. It was almost to that level. I felt like I'm talking deep V-neck, unbuttoned, throwing roses into the women to the women in the audience. Like everything was there. So it's if you want like a rock concert, like an old rock concert, that it definitely felt like it.
Yeah, it seems like music has really brought you kind of closer together as a couple. Could you kind of describe just how music has impacted your lives?
I think music was probably one of the first things we talked about. I mean, it'll tell me everything that I need to know about a person, whether they're into like indie rock or country. If they're in the country, like we're not getting along. We're not meant to be together. That's just not how I roll. But I'm pretty sure I was quizzing you about like what bands you liked and everything.
We were talking about Kendrick at the party where we first like hung out.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
talking about Kendrick because it was playing.
And Kendrick was huge then. I mean, he had only been around for
It's
like
probably
2 or 3
Good Kid,
years.
Mad City
Yeah.
come out.
Life-changing album too. All of his albums are perfect.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise it's nice that we can bond over the same love for music because I don't know what we would listen to like in our free time or in the car when we're driving somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how has it brought us together. Also, you're
It's
just
so
one of the few
much
people
there,
that is
like-
always down to go to a concert with me.
Yeah.
None of my like good friends. I mean, we went to concerts in college, but they're not into live music as much as I am, and I love it just for the history of it too. And you know, I want to know like the whole history of a band when I go to see them and how they formed and where they're going next and where did they go to school and I feel like you can appreciate that when I'm like rattling off facts like oh they like went on tour, their first tour was here or like this band formed this way or they're really inspired by the Doors or whatever. So I think that yeah, it brings us closer together.
No, definitely. You're the planner. Like I said, I know we're going to concerts this year. She knows where they're at and when they are. I just know I'm going. So she keeps me updated on everything. I don't know. It's in terms of our relationship, it's not that like it's affected it, but it's always been there, right? It's kind of how we started and our tastes have changed. I've adopted a lot of her music tastes, and shockingly, she's adopted a decent bit of mine. We've gotten into a little bit heavier stuff, which I did not see coming. There's a couple songs that I can put on that might toe the line just a little bit, but she likes them. Like we were listening to, I think I actually have her listening to a System of a Down song at one point. So that was an
What if you would
achievement.
name it though?
Aerials.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like another way of communicating, I guess. Just like whatever we want to listen to or whatever we're feeling. Like I can get a pretty good read on how she feels if she's getting ready in the bathroom, but like listening to something. And then for me personally, I don't work in silence. She needs complete silence. I don't work in silence. So I always have something going, and I like upbeat, I like up-tempo, fast music when I'm like working on something to keep myself amped up. So for personally, it's how I motivate myself. Like if I can fall into a playlist and not like skip a song or anything like that, I can get into a groove and do anything I need to do.
Yeah, I think that's the only time we're not listening to music together is when you're working and I'm working and I'm like, turn it off.
Yeah,
Put your headphones in.
I love this, and there's great timing. I visited my parents today, and we went to mass, and the priest was talking about the whole sermon revolved around music, ironically, and he was talking about how music just elevates the heart.
Mhm.
And I thought that was awesome. And I listened to, me, I'm big on inspirational speeches, and I sent this to you, James, and I actually sent it to your mom, Kathleen. It was Eric Church, of all people, gave this incredible speech at the graduation for University of North Carolina. It was incredibly powerful. And he talked about the 6 strings on a guitar are like the 6 strings of life, which I thought was amazing. Community, being an individual, faith, family, and he talked about ambition, and then being resilient. I just thought it was incredibly powerful. Encourage you all to listen to it. And it's about 15 minutes, but it's definitely worth it. And just even the listeners, just to take a listen to that, it's very powerful, but of course it's music themed. But this was really special for me. You're not just guests, but you're really like family. And it's just been amazing just hearing all these about these memories and just the future. But you all really do make an amazing couple. And I mentioned that at the wedding, you all definitely have something special that will be for a lifetime. So this has been amazing. And James, do you want to finally close us out with the particulars on where to find us? But thank you again, and love all you guys.
Yeah, this was fun getting able to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us, James and B.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kathleen and Connor. Yeah, you've been great guests. And if you're interested in joining one of our future episodes and being a guest, please reach out to us either in the comment section of our YouTube podcast or send us an email at music.recollections@gmail.com. Bye.